Okay, thanks so
So
much.
you're very welcome. My name is Nancy Russo. I'm the founder and principal designer of Russo Graphics. I started my business in 1985 and have been going strong ever since. Today's talk is going to be about branding, logos, and taglines. We're going to talk about the differences with them, how you use them to grow your business, and I'm asking that you save your questions for the end. If you write them down, that would be great, or you can put them in the chat and I will get to them at the end. There are going to be a few times in which I ask you some questions and you can unmute to answer them. Hopefully one at a time. There's a little raise hand button. Perhaps you can use that and then we can call on you. So a little bit about me. My business focuses on branding and logos, such as documents as well. I did a 277-page brochure for the NFL and all of their presentations. I do a lot of work for the University of Oxford. And I also do work for small local people like realtors and interior designers and physicians. I do brochures, print and digital ads, and as well as branding packages, presentations, websites, and brand guidelines, which are really important to put all of your branded assets into one place. I also run a small group accountability program for people in the creatives industries called Creatives Roundtable. So everyone's idea of branding is different. Some people think that it's the logos and the colors a company decides to use. Here are some of the things that a brand can include. Design style, which is your logo, your colors, your typography, and your packaging. All of that will be in your branded guidelines. A website and marketing, a storefront, social media presence, customer service, environmental and company culture, taglines and slogans, product and quality pricing, philosophy and overall personality. Developing a strong brand doesn't always take millions of dollars, but it does take a lot of creativity and research. So here we have Nike. The logo is the swoosh. The brand is everything that it makes up. It's the fact that there's a new Serena Williams building. There's being seen on jerseys and shoes and ads. That is the brand. It's the type of athletes that they represent, that represent them, excuse me. So as Amazon's Jeff Bezos said, a brand is literally what people say about you, your business, when you're not in the room. Because everything that they think and feel is why branding is so important. Branding, identity, and logos play a huge role in the perception of your company. They send signals to potential clients and help guide their decision-making process. Brands navigate, reassure, and engage to stand out. There are many things that make a brand strong. Uniqueness, a quality message, solid philosophy, targeted marketing, and audience awareness are just a few. Typically, what makes a brand great isn't just one amazing thing, it's a combination of several. It's service, it's relationships with customers, it's the look and feel of the product. There are so many things that can be part of your brand. One major role in designing the brand is its identity design. Identity design dictates how the brand appears to your audience and includes the visual aspects that form part of the overall brand. Visual identity appeals to user senses. The identity fuels recognition and makes big ideas and meaning accessible by unifying them into whole systems. When you invest in brand identity, you make it easier for a client to buy and build brand equity. An example of that is actually IKEA. they're not a small startup, and they're perfectly exemplify a strong brand, but they're a strong brand because they're known for their low prices, giant stores, customer experience, cheap meatballs, and a setup room displays, and a blue and yellow logo with the blocky font. And that is all part of their brand. So that logo is used for identification, and when you plop it on something, it really can show that just on its own, the little Nike symbol, the little Apple symbol, you can just say, this is what this product is. It is an Apple product. It is a Nike product. It is an IKEA product. You have to never underestimate the power of being familiar with something. When a customer is shopping and they see a familiar logo pop out at them, they're more likely to grab that product than the sea of others that are surrounding it because it's eye-catching and familiar. So when you go into a store and you're buying ketchup, if you have had Heinz ketchup for your entire life, you know what that label looks like. You look for that label, you look for it on the shelf, and it stands out to you. Sorry, that was out of order. There's your IKEA logo. So this is a part of a logo. And one of the reasons why you can display part of a logo is because its branding is so well done and everybody knows it. So can you type into the chat if you know what this logo is? Exactly. So you don't even need the whole logo to know that it's a Starbucks logo. Brands set expectations. You know when you have that Starbucks logo that it's going to be a quality experience when you go in there. The baristas are all really nice and friendly. They're going to call you, ask for your first name and call you that, and hopefully spell it right on their cups. Brands set expectations. You know that when you go into a really high-end store like Mitchell's in Westport or Bloomingdale's in Norwalk or a Nordstrom, you're going to get a different experience than when you go into a Marshall's. Those are different expectations that are set for different brands. So your brand drives your competition and your advantage. It sets you apart in the market, helping you to reach and engage and acquire customers in order to drive revenue and build value. And we're all about driving revenue because we're here to make money as businesses, and we build value because when we give value to our products and our services, then people want to return to us, and then we drive revenue. So it all goes round and round. So, what makes a good brand? Well, you have to find out by doing a user profile. And this is really something great to do for every company. You say, what is the demographics of the company? Someone's age, their sexual orientation, their marital status. You can have any of these things included as much as humanly possible. What's the story that the profile tells? So what's the story of Kentucky Fried Chicken or Apple Computer? What are the challenges that somebody one of the users who are going to Kentucky Fried Chicken or Apple are going to encounter? What kind of jobs are available in those places? What are the ambitions that the user who uses those products and eats that food? What are the ambitions of those people? So you make a bunch of faux clients by answering these questions. And what do these people need to solve their challenges? So for Apple, it might have been a sleeker camera that has multiple lenses. For Kentucky Fried Chicken, it might have been easily accessible bathrooms, a drive-through during COVID. These are things that people need for their challenges. And then how did the company provide how do you provide the solutions to meet their needs? So brand attributes are all about culture. How would you describe your community, describe you? Users, how you describe your customers or your users. Voice, how does your voice, not your literal voice like your speaking voice, but what you're saying, what you're writing on Instagram posts, on LinkedIn, on your website, how does your voice sound to others? It's a feeling. When someone interacts with your business or your product, how do they feel about it? Impact. What tangible impact do you have on others? An X factor. How are you different? These are all things that make up your brand attributes. And that is how you want your customer and your community to describe you. So there are a lot of benefits for branding. Number one is that people are going to buy your service or your business or your product, but you've got customer recognition. And if people recognize you, like that label for Heinz ketchup, it makes a brand stand out from its competition. Customer loyalty. I love Starbucks iced tea. I go there and only there if I'm going to have an iced tea. Customer loyalty is very, very important. And you do it because you like the brand. Exudes confidence. It helps make marketing consistent and memorable and more effective. Brand equity increases credibility and attracts talent. So these are all really important things. With attracts talent, when a business has great branding, people notice. Increasing credibility or confidence. It establishes a company as serious professional business. And brand equity. Every branded element helps bring brand equity. Let me take a sip of water. So these are some sentences that you can use in order to come up with your brand attributes. So if you have a pen or a piece of paper, or you can type into chat, your business, for me it would be Russo Graphics, provides product or service. For me it would be graphic design. Two, for me it would be small businesses and large businesses. And then you have to put your culture. So I would say that my culture is an open and partnership environment with a supportive voice, helping them feel important and successful. And that's my X factor, all of those things together. So would somebody like to unmute and answer this question for their business? No one? Okie dokie. Well, we then go on to the brand attributes example. Oh, here we go. Beauty by Dawn provides skincare and cosmetics to Black and brown women in with a stuck. You're stuck on that. So let's go back to that. Beauty by Dawn provides skincare and cosmetics to Black and brown women, are the users, in your culture environment. Where do you provide them? Do you provide them in a safe environment? Do you provide them in an online forum? And what's the voice behind it? Is it something having to be with a Black and brown woman? And how do you feel that when they buy your products, it makes you feel? So those are the questions that you have to answer. I did do this with Nike. You're very welcome, Dawn. So here I filled it out with Nike. So Nike provides sneakers to athletes. Those are their users in a supportive environment with a strong voice, helping them feel victorious and accomplished. X factor, sneakers for the athlete and everyone. So Think about the last time you made a decision between two companies. Did the visuals sway you? We eat with our eyes first. So if the brand is not appealing, they will not be considered. So you must know your competitors and know how your logo and your products on the shelf and your booth at a farmer's market, how will everything stand out next to your competitors? And don't be mistaken to think you don't have competitors. Every business does. The world sees you differently. Think about Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, Nike and Adidas. Have your brand ducks in a row so that people are shopping for your business, product, or service, and they can tell you apart. Because until you experience a company's service, perception is the only thing you have to base your decision on. So if your logo looks like everybody else's, if you've copied someone else's logo, if you have packaging that's just a brown bag with something handwritten on it, that could be your brand style, but what will people think when they're first experiencing it? For companies that want to be remembered, on-target visual brands and style guide elements are essential. Apple users are diehard devotees because of not just one, but several key branding factors: the sleek look, the promise of quality, products, and innovation, the atmosphere of the stores, the story behind it all. So when you think about companies who are so powerful that they may as well be considered religions, like Apple, Nike, Coke, and Amazon, consider everything that excuse me, consider everything that they combine to make their branding work. It's not just a logo. It's not just a tagline. It's not even just marketing research. It's all of that. And all of that is brand. So now we're going to talk about your logo. And your logo is the visual representation of your brand. There are really four types of logos: pictorial logos or symbols, word marks or logotypes, letter form logos, or abstract logos. So pictorial logos are illustrated symbols of recognizable things. Starbucks, Twitter, and Apple all have pictorial logos. Word marks or logotypes are freestanding words or letter abbreviation groupings comprising a logo. Companies with word mark logos include Google, CNN. Letter form logos are comprised of a single letter. Think of Honda or the golden arches for McDonald's. And abstract logos don't represent anything otherwise recognizable, like abstract art. Perhaps the most famous brand to successfully pull off an abstract logo is Nike. So effective logos become synonymous with the organizations they portray. You have to think about, are your visuals memorable? Is it too busy? Is it too plain? What will make your target audience remember it? I've designed a bunch of logos for realtors, and nobody comes up to me and says, I'm a realtor, I want my logo to be a house. I'm a realtor, I want my logo to be a construction zone. Whatever it is. These are all logos for realtors that I've designed. They're all different, and they all work for those realtors. But you can see how it doesn't have to say, I'm a realtor in this. Amazon has a logo that's very unique. It has an arrow pointing from the A to Z to represent that Amazon, the store, and I'm doing air quotes here, has everything in it from A to Z. And the word Amazon is because it's the longest river. So that's what the logo representation is. The Baskin-Robbins logo always has the number 31 hidden in it. You'll see the 31 in pink. And if I'm sorry, Jacqueline, I don't know what ID statement you're looking for. It has your logo and the 31 in pink, which represents the 31 flavors. And then we have KFC, the Colonel. It's no longer Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's always just KFC. And remember, car logos do not have to have cars pictures. You don't have to be literal, although some brands like Shell Oil use a shell. So you'll see here, Baskin-Robbins continues the branding with both the colors and the logo. They pick up here in this ad with the B and the R for Baskin-Robbins, and that ice cream is cold. These are some of my logos. I have my logo, a standard logo you'll see on the bottom right of the screen. It has a swirl in it. And in my emails, my clients all know that they get a seasonal logo. And yet those logos were not good enough when it came to social media. I had to be able to post something different that fit the screen. So you have to have a flexible logo. These logos are the most recognized logo of the world. Apple is pictorial, McDonald's a letter form, Coca-Cola is a letter form, Nike is abstract. They do not need the names of their companies to accompany them. And even if Coca-Cola is in another language, like I've seen it in Hebrew and Arabic, it does not look like anything but this Coca-Cola logo. But logos have to evolve. They are old-fashioned and retro is good, but over the years, they definitely evolve. Apple Computer, this was the first logo. It was a great illustration. Then they had jumped to this one. There were several in between that were translucent, but they evolved over time from an illustrative pictorial logo to a straight pictorial logo, also known as an icon. McDonald's went from being a word mark to just being a letter form logo, here in red. Coca-Cola, it went from a word mark here to a logo type here. And it was all just lettering. This is Nike. Nike went from Blue Ribbon Sports to this logo, which I believe at the time the designer was paid $25 for. Later it was made up with them giving her stock and I believe other things as well. To its current logo here, but we know that it also just appears as the swoosh. Starbucks logo had this mermaid always, and she evolved over the years, eventually knowing that you did not need to say Starbucks at all. And this is an illustrative pictorial logo that goes just to being a straight pictorial logo. Shell has always been a pictorial logo, and it has evolved until 1999 when it's just stayed with this icon, which is very similar to 1971 and 1995. They just tweaked it a little bit. Animal Planet went from having an illustrative pictorial logo to a word mark to a pictorial logo, and often the elephant appears without the words. Pfizer went from a word mark to an abstract and word mark. So these can stand independent of one another. And this is a logo that I did for an organization up in upstate Connecticut or towards Mystic, where they needed to redesign something but still have it represent people, but they wanted service. So I made the people the inside, and it went from being a pictorial logo to an abstract logo. Here you have another logo that I recently completed for Cucina Daniella. She came to me with this logo on the left, and she said she wanted somebody to redo it for her. And I said, well, did you do that on Canva? Because it looks like a Canva clip art logo. And sure enough, it was. Sorry, my screen's refreshing. So I designed this word mark for her, which is just the lettering. And then I designed a pattern of tomatoes and basil and another basil leaf that we can use in other areas as well. So in all, I gave her 4 different pieces of fruit, being the lemon, the basil, the tomato, and then also another basil leaf. Here in this redesign, we took this literal court reporting services and focused on the name, the boldness, because the company is a bold, strong company. So we just came up with O'Brien and Levine with this hand done ampersand to emphasize things. It went from a pictorial logo to a letter form logo. Your brand should always be authentic, relevant, and current. The longer you wait to revise your logo, the older it gets, and the more potential clients go elsewhere. Sometimes you need to redo your logo because your company has changed, your focus has changed, your product has changed, and sometimes it just needs a little refresh. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the slogan or tagline, because it's the hook. It's something that brings you in. When we had the introduction today, I heard small but mighty. And I laughed because my company on the website says small and mighty graphic design firm. So you have something that represents you. And it's funny, we have the same things. So the idea behind a slogan or a tagline is to create a memorable, dramatic phrase to sum up your tone or your premise. So the first one, I'm going to again ask you to put in the chat. Just do it. Whose tagline is that? And no one put it in the chat? Nike, great. You're in good hands. Great. Think different. Apple, good. The breakfast of champions. We're doing well here. The happiest place on earth. Can you hear me now? Well, we had several people who said Sprint, but it is Verizon, I believe, because you're worth it. L'Oreal, correct. And finger licking good. KFC. So then you have different ways that sayings go. So America runs on Dunkin', right? Melt in your mouth, not in your hand, right, Tamara? There are some things money can't buy. Nope, not American Express. There's something that money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. That's right, Zenobia. And maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. So you have to really know that when you're doing your branding and your logo and your tagline and your photos that you're going to be using and whatever you're putting across your website and social media, frequency is important. Frequency is using your brand elements on everything. And then you have to anchor your message to your value. What are you selling? Make sure your message is getting that across. Consistency. Keep your brand elements the same across all marketing materials. That's your signs, your business cards, your social media, your ads. Sometimes when I do a branding project for someone, they don't work in the design software I work in. So I set them up a branded package in Canva so that they can go and make sure that everything is consistent. And then targeting. Always keep your target audience and marketing in mind when you get your materials out in the world. So do you know if your brand is working for your business? Is it positive? Do people know it? Do people ever comment on it? Do you think it needs a tweak or it's just fine? So in the words of Henry Ford, a man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops a clock to save time. The same applies to branding, and I recommend looking at your brand assets every 6 months. This doesn't mean redesigning things. It means making sure that somewhere you didn't slip and put something out in the universe that was off brand, the wrong color, the wrong font, an image that doesn't represent your audience. If you don't do the look back every 6 months, you cannot be sure that a brand does not lose its value. And these are the words of Don Draper from Mad Men. Make it simple, but significant. I want to thank everybody. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them now. I'm going to stop sharing. This is my contact information, which I'm sure that you can get as well. So stop sharing. Do we have any questions? Where does one start? Dawn, would you like to come off mute and ask that question so I can see what you're actually looking for? The X factor is not your tagline. It's really, the X factor is the X factor is what makes your business unique. Okay, you don't know how to unmute. See if I can see the participants. For some reason, I am just seeing the chat and not the participants. I'm sorry, this is not my.
If Nancy, if you
I see.
if
View
you
all
go up to the
attendees.
top,
Yep, I'm
yep,
seeing
if
it
you
now.
hover at the top, you'll see your participant list.
Yep, okay.
Yep, and then you open the attendees,
Yep,
and then
I've got
if you click on Dawn, then you can mute and unmute.
Yeah, I'm just looking for Dawn's name now. Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, Dawn, you're unmuted.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, so I don't have a brand. I do have a logo that I'm not necessarily happy with. And you gave us such great information, a wealth of information, but how do I start to, I know that you gave us the statement that I think I captured on my phone, that we started typing in the chat. But after that, then how do you start to build and create your brand?
Well, normally it's done with professionals, designers, writers, and they help you along the way, marketing people. But it's important to just make sure that you look at every aspect of your business. Make sure that you know who your clients are. To create those client personas are really important because that helps you. You might be. What's your business, Dawn?
Beauty by Dawn Skincare and Cosmetics.
Okay, so you're marketing towards one type of a person, but with your care and cosmetics, but do you really know everything about those people? Do you know if speed is important? Do you know if quality is important? What is it that your customers like and want about you? So you can start collecting that information. You can ask customers, or you can just figure out what you want your ideal customer to be, and then start searching for things that people are posting about that type of customer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If someone doesn't have a brand yet, where do we start? So I think that's really what you were talking about. But if you don't have anything, you don't even have a logo, the best thing to do is to contact a graphic designer. There are tons of them. Connecticut has a lot of design colleges. You can approach students as well. There's also an organization called the American Institute of Graphic Artists. There's a Connecticut chapter that has a lot of members. They're listed on the website. And these are people that are in the business of graphic design, and they can help you develop from soup to nuts. Any other questions?
Sorry, are you all set, Nancy? Are you gonna?
I'm looking, there are no other questions. So if no one has any other questions, I guess we're all set. Will you
Here we go.
How do you narrow down your market? There are lots of books and webinars and podcasts on niching down. You really just have to find what you like to do the best, what there's a market for, and concentrate on marketing that. So Zenobia, can I unmute you, which I've just done, and can you tell me a little bit about what you do?
Hi, Nancy. I think I misspoke. I didn't mean market. I meant more so of your demographics, like really finding out what your demographics are for your company. So, for example, I'm starting a hot sauce company,
Oh, okay.
and I keep hearing, you want to know, what the demographics are, but I feel like it can be such a broad demographic for my specific company, so I'm not really sure how much I need to narrow it down.
Well, the thing is, you're going to be out there against so many other hot sauces. So what I would do is I would look at one like Tia Lupita's or Ortega and just say, what do these people have that I want? What does it look like their customer is? Now, if you look at a Tia Lupita logo and label, it is fun, it is friendly, it is attracting people who are youthful, who are adventurous, and are really going to have a good time when they're dipping the chip in it or pouring it on some food. That's what their logo says. Ortega, their branding, their persona is the everyman who just enjoys a good salsa, a good chip, a good, they make so many products, Ortega. So you really have to take a look at your competition and see what interests you and see what they're doing, see what their social media posts are about, see what they're, learn whatever you can about them and see if that's the type of thing that you would like to do as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Shelley, will the presentation be sent out?
We can send it out if you would like.
I think for people who might want it, just because I know you said this is recorded, so you'll be able to rewatch the recording. But it might be helpful to have that sheet where I have the questions that you can fill in, and I can send you an updated presentation today when we're done.
Yeah, perfect. If you can send that to me, I will make sure Mary has it so that if anyone asks for it, so you just want it, do you want us to send it to everyone or just send it to anyone that asks for it?
I would say anyone that asks for it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, yep, we'll be happy to just reach out to the main office,
Okay.
folks, and Mary will be happy to send that to you.
Okay, Jacqueline, I've unmuted you. Why don't you ask me your question?
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. You part of it you already did. I just wanted that statement. It was so focused, and I was busy writing, and I wasn't smart enough to just take a picture of it so I could finish it. So that would be amazing if I could get a copy of that. But I have a small bookkeeping service. And my goal is to provide financial peace to small business owners. A lot of the people I know, and I know a lot of small business owners that don't take care of their financials properly, and then they can't represent themselves properly for loans or whatever. And I'm trying to come up with a tagline because my company is called Your Financial Peace. And I was trying to, I don't know, we provide peace of mind, affordable peace of mind, obtainable peace.
Well, what I would say is Google all of those things because I'm sure you're going to find someone has that same tagline. But what you need to do when you're coming up with your tagline is figure out something, number one, that can be memorable, but something that does describe you a little bit. When you say the words plop plop fizz fizz, I mean, as someone my age knows that we're talking about Alka-Seltzer. It doesn't have the product name in there. It doesn't have a description of what the product is, but it does have a prescription of what it does. So,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, because I was trying to make it broad enough, because who knows if I want to branch out in the future or where I want it to go. You don't want to limit yourself from the beginning.
but a
But by
tagline
doing
can
it.
be changed, like a logo. It can evolve with the company. So,
Okay.
if you're just concentrating on, doing accounting for clowns, and later on you're doing accounting for CEOs, you're going to change your marketing. You're going to change your color palette. You're going to change your tagline, etc. So you really have to know that you can evolve this as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Fides, I would say that you need to contact for the presentation. Jacqueline, we got the question. So I think we've got everyone's questions. So is there anyone else before we sign off? Going once, going twice. Okay, Shelley, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, just one sec. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today, and thank you, Nancy. I really enjoyed listening in. I love the small but mighty, small and mighty overlap. That was fun. And yeah, thank you very much. Definitely, anyone who is interested in getting the presentation, just reach out to the main office, and as soon as Mary has that, she'll send it out to you. And also, please, a reminder that as you leave class today, a survey will pop up in a new tab. Please take a moment to fill that out. And if you need any support from us, just let us know in that survey, and Mary will be happy to reach out to you. All right, thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. And thanks again, Nancy.
Thank you.
Take care.